Yeah.
Oh, I found your outfit for today. You decided? Yeah.
Hi, Tokyo Tops from the past.
Hi, Tokyo Tops from the future.
Welcome back.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Do you think there are going to be tops in the future? I think it's just going to be a level playing field.
Today we want to talk about our ideas on relationship, and especially just on our daily chat, we realize like how different we are in terms of like looking for partners and criteria of finding what is the ideal relationship.
Like our other discussions, this is something that really doesn't have a right or wrong answer. So my understanding of Meng is he tends to look for more of a transactional relationship.
I believe a relationship or a long-term relationship in particular can be cultivated. Like the feeling, the emotion, the love, the bond can be cultivated through the process.
So let me get this straight. You go and you find a guy and you're not really feeling them. They're not making you feel anything inside. But you're like, oh, he has A, he has B, he has C. Okay, he's a good guy, let's try.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because well, in the beginning, like the chemistry is very important. I just don't feel like it happens very often. For example, like Titanic.
I'm flying.
The love story we see on TV, on the big screen, that it hits you like a comet. Like it strikes your world dramatically, that you feel like, oh my God, I'm so in love with that person. It happens, but I feel like that's lust. That's not...
Sure, but lust tends to also come before love as well, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe both of us have a similar end goal of maybe being in a long-term relationship that's loving and stuff like that, but maybe you get into it through your checklist. And I think I get into it through lust. And then when the lust fades, hopefully by that time we've developed a bond. We've developed a bond and we love each other. And then with you, it's like you are there initially for the checklist, but then as the thing goes on, you start loving each other.
I don't think like I'm there for checklist. It's because
You're so there for a checklist.
No, I'm not there for the checklist, but it just helped me to filter out.
That's exactly what a checklist is you're evaluating them based on these checkpoints, whether they can be what you
a
want.
Potential partner.
Yeah. So that's exactly what that is. So
well,
you're
I feel like when you frame it, it sounds like I'm very like a gold digger.
So this is the difference I think in our this is why this conversation is really hard, because how much of a relationship is about love and feelings and how much is about a transactional, right?
I mean, it definitely has both.
It has both. Like I would argue that Japan is much more on the transaction side. That's
not everyone though.
Oh, I say. Oh no. The straight couples in Japan tend to approach relationships a lot more like, okay, you know, he has this job, he's this age, he's a certain, he falls into a range of what I want them to look like. You know, he has a savings for his house and we're gonna have kids, so I guess it works. You know, and then the guys looking at similar things like doing the checklist, right? I've talked to people in the past who want love, Japanese friends who are girls. I want love just like the movies, but then if you poke them, like, okay, that means that they could be like maybe not making this much money. They could be making just a little bit, but if you love them for who they are, it shouldn't matter. They'll always come back to me, oh, no. They need to make a certain amount of money because they can't then like compute how the rest of their life is their goals are gonna work out, like children and all that stuff, right? So that's why I think Japan is a lot more transactional, because if you push people to a certain extent, love, and this is why you're transactional, I think. If I push you towards more things, I think you'll get to a wall where you're saying, no, they need to be on the checklist before it's gonna work. And I think that for me, I approach it another way, whereas I don't need the checklist there if the feeling is there. So, and I think and there is no right and wrong. It's just more the difference between us and what we're looking for.
I think it's very funny. You should be wearing like a more future, because my idea sounds like traditional to you. But okay, one thing I want to argue right here is because if you put yourself into the feeling one, you're very passive. You're waiting for that feeling to come to you. right? If you have a checklist, you can be more proactive. You can open more doors for yourself. For example, that person maybe not hitting the feeling at the moment, but if he fits the paper on the paper, then you can give them a chance to allow them, because that's because you know that's what I believe, because I think the feeling can be cultivated, right?
If I brought someone to you and I said, you know, this person has this, like, for lack of a better word, this salary range, you would very quickly be able to decide whether they fit that or not. And if they did not, out.
Yeah, but it's,
right?
Yeah, it's
right?
not high standard though. It's just like a regular line, and.
But that's whereas me, right? It's harder for someone to come and say like, oh, they have to make me laugh this much versus this much. It's a lot less obvious on what fits that, and I think that as a result, that allows me to be more open. So people might still not get in. They might not make me feel anything, but I'm open to meeting all these people and not rejecting them based on these very hard qualities, because the soft qualities I'm looking for are really hard to quantify.
But the argument right here is, I think you're limiting yourself. You're not
I know
giving
you limit
yourself.
I know you think that, yeah.
Yeah, at this opposite thinking, because you think I am limiting myself by putting those filters out. But on the contrary, I'm thinking you're limiting yourself, because feeling is the hardest thing to find.
Yeah. I just want to feel something.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so you don't believe that that feeling can be cultivated through time and different events? Or do you believe that? If you believe that, you should stop chasing for that.
It's like my belief in God, okay? That we talked about recently, okay? I am agnostic, okay? Like, I believe in the possibility, but I need to see it.
You can try it out.
I mean, we can try it out, but then I also have to think about the partner too, being like, well, you kind of fit this checklist, and I don't really feel anything for you, but I want to. Well, so let's try.
But I think that's our disagreement with right here, because you think it's something immoral. You kind of villainize this concept.
If someone said that to me, I would be like, goodbye, goodbye. I want though, like I understand where you're coming from. I want someone to say, I want to go on vacation with you. I want to have this adventure with you. Please jump in this car, because this is going to be so much more fun if you're here with me. I'm going to be like, woo, and want to jump in. Not like, you want to go, right? And I'll be like, yeah, okay, well, I kind of want to go too, and we don't have anyone else to go with, so let's give it a shot. That's how I look at that.
Well, but like, Andrew, if you look at that way, I know you're saying that it's not about the outer look. It's about other things as well. But for that part, if someone you just met and they tell you, you know, I want to go with you so much, and they'll probably only look at you from outside, because they don't know nothing about you. It's really just that raw chemistry that driven them being this like crazy magnet in the beginning. But when after you start communicating with them, or get into the real life past that honeymoon phase, and all the problems gonna show up.
I mean, I don't really want to be alone forever.
Okay.
But I don't want to be in a relationship just because it is serving a purpose to do other things.
Nobody knows what is love, right? It's very vague idea. Like, we only know it from movie, from books. So we are from understanding love from other people's lens, usually. And we try to...
And it's not so realistic.
Yeah, and we try to put them into a box, right? But it really, I think, comes to the point that we as an individual can decide what is a loving relationship.
That's actually something I'd be really interested to find out in the comments, is what people feel love is.
Yeah. What is love?
What is love? Like, what is love to you?
Because we don't know, apparently.
Obviously,
yeah, we have disagreement on this topic.
We're going around in circles. So you tell us what you think love is. Have a safe Halloween, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.